Cumberland, Senator Volk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to take a moment to speak on my motion. This is a very important issue that affects the entire state of Maine, and is the issue of homelessness. And I want to take a few minutes to explain to you what this legislation would do, and then I understand that there will not be a roll call, and so I do, but I still want to take a few minutes to educate everybody on this. So what this legislation, LD 970, would do is to fund a model program called Housing First in Portland, likely. And I want to tell you about what has happened since 12 years ago when Preble Street opened the first Housing First program in Maine. 30 of the state's most chronically homeless people moved in, and the numbers recording homelessness dropped. And they dropped significantly, and they stayed low. So Logan Place, that one project with only 30 apartments, caused a 10% drop in homelessness for the city of Portland and a 5% drop for the entire state. So if you think about that impact, 30 apartments and homelessness dropped by 5% for the entire state of Maine. It's quite an impact. So besides shelter numbers dropping, Housing First is also an evidence-based practice that saves money. And that's why I'm willing to support this legislation. I've stood up many, many times in this chamber, and I'll stand up many, many times again before this session ends. And I'll push this button many, many times before this session ends, not to fund programs. But I do believe that when we have an opportunity to spend money in order to save money, that we do the right thing and the smart thing, and we support that. And that's what this legislation will do. When you look at the numbers around Housing First, there was a 70% decrease after 1 year in healthcare usage, a 71% decrease in ambulance usage, a 74% decrease in emergency room usage, and we all know what that equates to, an 88% decrease in jail time, a 95% decrease in emergency shelter use, and a 35% decrease in mental health care, but that impact is actually saving money. So despite the dramatic increase in mental health care utilization, the cost fell. Consumers received twice the amount of care for a fraction of the cost because they were relying on regular outpatient treatment that is far less expensive than crisis emergency room or inpatient care. One other point that I just want to make when I'm speaking on this, and the fact that I'm willing to support this, is that I do have some reservations. And the reservations that I have is that in the state of Utah, where Housing First has been extremely successful, and Utah at this point basically has no homelessness. It's extremely low. A lot of the funding is coming from private sources. And I think we need to wonder why in the state of Maine, and ask the question of why in the state of Maine, organizations that are doing such good work, private organizations like Preble Street doing such great, amazing work, are now having a very hard time raising funds and doing fundraising. Why is that? Is that going to continue to be a problem? And is that problem going to be worse because of some of the policies that we have an opportunity to weigh in on in this chamber? So I would advocate that we all support this, but I would also advocate that we consider what we are doing to the population of people that have traditionally supported these types of organizations. Thank you.